What is up, Screen Watcher Nation? It is the Screen Watcher here, and as I said, I was a little sick over the weekend for me here, but I did get a chance to watch some videos at home, so I wanted to go ahead and get a review of one of them out so that you could enjoy my review of it. It actually came out this year, but it was a very, very small release. It was actually the Rape and Revenge movie called Revenge. Very, very small release. It was actually only released to 37 movie theaters in the entire nation, but it is out on Redbox right now. It is a very, very niche movie, but it is kind of a slasher film. So let's go ahead and get into the cast. It actually only had 5 actors in the entire film, 4 of which only got credited. So it's actually a very, very interesting movie when you look at it, and it is an interesting movie to review, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways because I thought it was a pretty interesting movie. So the main characters, the only characters in the movie really, the main character is Matilda Anna Ingrid Lutz. She plays Jen. She was in the movie The Rings, the sequel to the movie The Ring. Kevin Janssens, he played Richard. He was in The Vermist, which was a Belgian TV show. There was Vincent Colombe. He played Stan. He's been in a bunch of small roles in Europe, a lot of one episodes of European television. And then there's Guillaume Bouchard, hope probably butchered his name. He played Dimitri, also in a bunch of one episodes and smaller roles. But those are the 4 main characters, Jen, Richard, Stan, and Dimitri. What happens in the movie is you meet Jen and Richard in this house out in the desert, and Richard and Jen are obviously engaged in a non-marital relationship, but Richard is married, so they are having an affair, and then Stan and Dimitri kind of show up to go hunting with Richard, which seems to be a ritual for them. So they go and are going to go have their yearly annual hunt out in the desert. And Jen was, I guess, supposed to be there for Richard to have fun with and then leave before the other 2 guys got there. But they got there a little early. So Richard was going to go and get their licenses for hunting. And there was a very graphic rape scene, which is tough to kind of get through, but it really makes you hate the character. And then Richard gets back. Obviously, Jen tells him what happened. Richard tries to kind of pay her off. You see this kind of happen in the previews, if you saw the previews. And Richard, is again trying to pay her off. Jen isn't having it. She runs off into the desert, trying to go back towards the helicopter that took her into this deserted home. And then the guys give chase, and they end up pushing her off a cliff. And she gets impaled by a tree. They think she's dead, so they just go on about their merry way on their hunt. But this is where the revenge gets into it. She goes and starts hunting them. Now, it's a pretty gory movie, so this is where I turn from going from there's no spoilers, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but you root for Jen. It's pretty phenomenal how you turn and you root for her the whole time. They really, really make you hate these guys. There's actually a lot of these types of movies out there. I say it's a niche type of film because rape and revenge movies, it's not a very big market. Obviously, you have to kind of grind through that beginning part of the film. It's not a fun watch at the beginning, but then you're so rooting for the character to just get that revenge, and you're like, towards the end, you're jumping up and just rooting for Jen to go and do the things that she's doing, that she turns into this total BA and doing some things that is terrible to see and watch, but there's copious amounts of gore in this movie. So if you do not like that, not the movie for you. It's partly in French, so again, that's probably what limited the release of the movie, but My buddy and I are into slasher films. That's why we rented the movie and watched it. We had a fun time. We had an adult beverage or two. So it was fun to see how insane the movie got. It's kind of like where you see in Panic Room when you're rooting for the people to go and take it out on their assailants. It's like when you're rooting for there's a lot of movies where you have something bad happen to the main character, and then the main character is kind of taking it back to the bad guys, and it's insane how much blood they think is in the human body and can still function. But other than that, it was entertaining. Only having the four characters in the entire film was pretty interesting. Usually, you have to have a wider scope than that, but it works in the film. It was interesting going back and forth between English and French, and I think there were more languages than just French. I don't speak French, or really German or anything else, but I know they were doing other languages. I could not tell if it was just French, but it was fun to see the final battles and all that kind of stuff. I did not expect to see what was going on. If you're into this type of movie, you'll have fun with it. If any of the previous 6 minutes does not sound like your type of movie, you'll hate it. But it was worth the Blu-ray watch. I don't think enough of these types of movies get enough credit when they're done well. And this one was done well. I think the production budget was only like $100,000. So it was pretty amazing, and to have these four relatively unknown actors do so well in the film, I thought it was worth the watch. So again, tough to get through. Not everybody's cup of tea. But if you're into slashers, it's for you. If you're into revenge movies, it's for you. If you want to just get up and go, you go girl, you get that man, yeah, it's worth the watch. So Revenge, have you seen it? Have you red boxed it? Were you in one of the 37 movie theaters that this came out in? Let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, that is my review of Revenge. Hopefully your popcorn was fresh. Hopefully you have enjoyed your days at the cinema. This is the Screen Watcher with another review. If you have a movie you'd like for me to review, let me know. Other than that, like, subscribe, and I will see you all later.